Hello everyone, it's August 2023 and time for another Portugal Golden Visa update. A lot is happening in this space at the moment, so today we're asking the question, can I still access the Golden Visa for just 280,000 euros? Well, the answer is of course yes, otherwise we probably wouldn't have needed this video. But don't switch off just yet, as there are a few nuances that we need to get into. But before we do that, what are we going to cover in today's session? Well, we'll get started with the basic background, so introducing myself for those who don't know me, the company I represent, and how we work. We'll then answer some basic questions. Firstly, why? Why get a European passport, and why Portugal is widely considered the best route to this? Then what? What is the Golden Visa? What are the criteria to qualify, and what do the process and timelines look like? After that, we'll take a quick look at the legal context. So what is happening now and the best course of action for those looking to access the scheme right now in 2023. We'll then look at some specific investment options which offer fast-track processing. Spoiler alert, these are the final viable options in the real estate space, so do pay special attention to this section. As with all my videos, we will of course focus on how to select the best investment for you and the main risk factors that you should consider when taking this decision. We'll then wrap up with some frequently asked questions, so if you do have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments box down below, or feel free to contact me via email, which you can do with the email address that should be on your screen now. And it's right down there at the bottom. So that's jonathan.ralph@holbornassets.com. Okay, so a quick word on myself and our company, Holborn Assets, to get started. So we are a leading financial planning and investment management firm, British wealth management firm with a track record spanning 25 years, established in 1998. We're a market leader in the Golden Visa space, but we also specialise in pensions, financial investments and property investments for clients in the offshore market. That is to say, our core market are expats, just like myself and just like you are most likely going to be in the future. We're actually one of the largest expat financial advisories worldwide. We serve more than 20,000 clients across 100 different countries and manage over $3 billion worth of their assets. We're extremely proud of our 100% success record when it comes to the Portugal Golden Visa, and we have now helped roughly 1,000 people get residency in Portugal in this way. Naturally, as a client-centric business, we are regulated in our markets of operation, including via the Financial Conduct Authority in the United Kingdom and in the European Union via our European head office, which is actually based in Cyprus, even though of course we do have offices across Portugal and Spain as well. We're multi-award winners, as you can see on the screen there. Extremely proud of our 4.8 out of 5 rating on Trustpilot. I myself am a senior manager here at Holborn, and I'm one of the leading residency by investment specialists working today. I've helped more than 100 people secure their Portuguese residency at this point, so if you'd like to work with me and with my expert team, which I'm very privileged to have with me here, then do feel free to just drop me a line. Okay, so that's the conventional about us bit out of the way. So then, why should you consider a European passport? Now, the value here is really the freedom that it gives you. Now, if you're watching this video, you may already be aware of the benefits of an EU passport. But once you have that passport, you can live, retire, work, study, or open a business in any one of the 27 European states. It does not matter which country gives you the passport, as long as it's an EU passport, you can go where you please. You can also use your new passport to travel visa-free to 185 countries around the world. So why Portugal? Now this slide shows the most popular Golden Visa programs that are available. There are more, but these are the major ones. However, there is one program in particular that stands out. It is the go-to for most non-Europeans looking to acquire an EU passport, and that is of course Portugal. So that question again, why Portugal? Two main reasons really. Now, number one, it is one of the cheapest programs that exist. Now, at the time of recording, qualifying investments start at just 280,000 euros. Of course, the clue is in the title of this video. In comparison, Spain is almost double this at 500,000. The second reason to choose Portugal, and the main reason really to choose the Golden Visa specifically, is the physical stay requirement. Whereas other countries do require you to become a tax resident and live there full time, generally speaking, Portugal does not. In fact, you only have to visit for an average of 1 week per year to qualify for full Portuguese citizenship and that second EU passport after just 5 years. So if you take the decision to buy property in Portugal, you can carry on living wherever you are now, and after just 5 years you can obtain EU passports for the whole family. The only other condition is that you learn a basic level of Portuguese before getting your new passport to show ties to Portugal. So, another question for you. Do you think you could spend 1 week per year in Portugal for the next 5 years and learn some basic Portuguese along the way? If you're with me so far, I'd hazard a guess that the answer is yes. Although I don't usually rhyme in these particular videos, but we'll make an exception there. Okay, so zeroing in on Portugal, focusing on the Portugal Golden Visa now. So it was launched in 2012. It's proven extremely popular as it is the most accessible route to a European passport. As we've just seen, you can include the whole family. What do I mean by that? Spouse, dependent children and parents, but you must also have a clean criminal record. You'll be interested to know that my team has managed over 10% of all the golden visas ever issued in Portugal, so if you do work with us, you are working with an expert and a tried and trusted market leader. There are several investment routes to take. Property is by far the most attractive, so this will be the main focus of the rest of today's session. There are a couple of things that we need to dive into as well. Mainly because, and the spoiler is right there on your screen, the rules are changing and real estate is no longer going to be available as a golden visa access point in the future. So stay tuned as we will be diving into that in just a second. Okay, 5 main investment routes that you can take to access the golden visa. The first is transferring at least 1 million euros in cash into a Portuguese bank account, which I personally wouldn't recommend with inflation being so high at the moment. There's lots more that we could and should be doing with that cash. Secondly, investing €500,000 into Portuguese investment funds. Now, getting the right investment fund can be tricky, as I know when I wear my other hat as a wealth manager. So you do need to know what you're doing here when you're selecting the right investment fund. We'll be talking about that a little bit more on this channel later in the year, so do subscribe to this channel if you want to be clued in on that when those videos become available. Now, real estate. Now, real estate starts at €280,000, and this is by far the most flexible and popular route, so we will focus on this. There are also routes to the visa via a cultural donation of €250,000. Now, I say donation because investing in the arts almost never guarantees a return, almost never generates a return. So for all intents and purposes, it is a donation. And finally, creating at least 8 jobs in Portugal by opening a business. Now, usually that is 10 jobs across most of the country, but it is 8 in a low density area. Of course, if you open a business in a low density area, the possibility for growth tends to be a little bit more limited, so one to consider there. So why is real estate the most attractive of these routes? Well, quite simply because it offers a lot more flexibility versus the others. With the right partner, with the right investment, you can have yields paid to you up front, you can benefit from a relatively low investment amount, and a place to stay for free when you need to come to Portugal, and also, crucially, a built-in exit strategy via a guaranteed buyback once your passports have been obtained. Okay, let's take a quick look now at the process to obtain your golden visa. Now, this slide has been simplified a little bit to make it easier to understand. We do not need to go into any more detail than the top line at this stage, but if we do end up working together, I will walk you through the ins and outs of everything that we need to be looking at as part of this process. There is quite a lot more documentation as well, but we're not covering that on this particular slide. From a high level, the process for you to obtain your golden visa is the following. It takes around 12 months, give or take. As you can see, we do most of this from the comfort of your home. So getting started, this would include the kickoff, which is of course where we would sign client agreements, establish your administrative presence in Portugal. What does that mean? That means getting your tax numbers, it means opening your bank account, and also setting up a power of attorney so that the lawyers can purchase the property in your name. We'll then ask you to send the funds to your Portuguese bank account so that we can complete the purchase, and once that's done, we will submit your golden visa application to the authorities for approval. Now, this is a key milestone because once your application has been assigned what's called an ARI number, which is essentially your golden visa case number, you are in the system and protected from any subsequent changes to the rules. Once we've done that, it is just a matter of time before we achieve pre-approval from the authorities, the CEF, and then we will essentially take care of everything in the back end to make sure that everything is sorted and have your cards issued. To do this, we will invite you to come to Portugal for a biometric appointment. Now, this is the first and only time that we would actually need you to be physically present in Portugal as part of this process. Once that's done, we'll take care of the rest, having the cards printed, issued, and then couriered out to your home address, wherever you are in the world. And then, with our congratulations, you are now a bona fide resident of Portugal and a Golden Visa residency permit holder. And that means, of course, that in 5 years' time, you'll be eligible for dual nationality and that second passport. So what does the route to citizenship and that second passport actually look like? Well, once the Golden Visa is issued to you, that is valid for a 2-year period. So after 2 years, we will need to go back and renew that Golden Visa. Of course, there is a prerequisite there that the requirements have been met. That means that you continue to hold the property, and any dependents still need to qualify with their dependent status. We can help you with that, of course. Another 2 years will go by. We will need to renew one further time. Again, making sure that we meet the ongoing requirements. And then after a year, we will have qualified for citizenship by virtue of 5 years of legal residence, of holding the Golden Visa, spending at least 7 days per year in Portugal during that time, and of course obtaining, passing the language test, which we can talk about in just a minute. Okay, so that's the process. The legal context around the Portugal Golden Visa is a little bit of a hot button, and it has been for pretty much the entirety of 2023, as the government had initially announced that it would be scrapping the Golden Visa entirely. Now, I'm very happy to report that that is no longer the case. However, real estate will no longer qualify in any form once the law changes. This, therefore, raises the minimum investment requirement to €500,000, assuming we continue to ignore the donation to culture and the arts. Investment funds will now become the staple route to the Golden Visa, and we'll be announcing some rather innovative solutions for this later on in the year. So be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see that when we're ready to announce those. These law changes have now cleared Portuguese Parliament, and they're currently, at the time of recording, awaiting presidential ratification. This could happen at any time, although this is unlikely to happen during the month of August due to the summertime holidays. This is a quirk of doing business in Portugal, but there is an awful lot to be said for the laid-back Mediterranean approach to life. In fact, it may be one of the reasons that you're watching this video. That said, when the law is eventually ratified, the law change will take place immediately, so we do need to make sure that we monitor this constantly. So where does this leave you? Well, you now have two options. Option one is to wait for the new law to take effect, to analyse the new scenario, and to find a qualifying investment fund in which to invest a cool €500,000. Option two, however, may be more your cup of tea. Here we'd get started straight away with a qualifying real estate investment at €280,000 and aim to have all the paperwork submitted before the law is ratified. Now, if we select the right investment, there is a very good chance of beating the deadline at the time of recording. Now, if you like the sound of option two, I would ask you to consider the following questions. Number one, does my investment offer a 100% refund guarantee if I miss the deadline? This is very important because you don't want to lose anything if the law changes quickly and have an asset that is difficult to dispose of potentially and also doesn't get you the Golden Visa that you're looking for. Fortunately, we have extended our money-back guarantee to certain investment options, which I will take you through in just a moment. So if we do miss the deadline, we do have mechanisms in place that would offer you that 100% money-back guarantee. The second question I would ask you to consider, what is my plan B if the deadline is in fact missed? Is the refund the best option, or am I able to roll up to €500,000 if I really need to? And if that's the case, am I working with a global partner that can ensure my interests are looked after in the best possible way? Okay, so that's the process and the context. Now let's look at some investment options. What I'm about to present to you are, in my opinion, the leading options in Portugal currently. Number one, Hotel Globo. This is a Days Inn hotel. You might be familiar with the brand. It's a part of Wyndham Group, Wyndham Hotels and Resorts, one of the largest hotel companies in the world. What we're talking about here is a €280,000 co-ownership project that offers a great rental yield and extensive guarantees. So essentially you are placing your name on the title deed of the hotel to get a percentage ownership of the project. I actually like this one a lot in the current context. What we're talking about is a redevelopment project of an existing hotel. Now, as an investment manager, that is music to my ears. It's great because it minimizes construction risk. The hotel is already built, it is just being extended and renovated. Now, Days Inn, which you may or may not know already, is a mid-level hotel brand, and we're talking about a 4-star property. Do please bear in mind, and this is very, very important when selecting a Golden Visa investment, we are not looking for a place that you personally would live or choose as your own holiday destination. We are looking for the best possible investment case to get you your Golden Visa and also subsequently your passport. So we need to look at this with rational eyes and wearing our financial hat rather than our holiday hat. So as I mentioned, Days Inn is a Wyndham Hotel brand, so you have the peace of mind that comes with the association with a global powerhouse of the hospitality industry. On your screen there you can see a couple of renders of the standard of the finished renovation. In terms of location, the hotel is in Mirandela, a short hop to the Spanish border and an hour and a half from the city of Porto. Remember, as I said previously, you are not selecting a place to live or a place to take a holiday, so even though the location may not be the most typical option, what you may have had at the front of your mind of Lisbon, for example, or the Algarve, the financial case is what needs to take priority here. As your advisor, I would urge you to take a look at the fundamentals of the investment offered and prioritize those. This is a calculated decision and one that makes sense when we look at the key metrics, and that's what's most important. Those are the following. Now, this is a smaller capital raise than your typical Golden Visa project. So we're looking for just 80 investors here, raising a total of €23 million, which is quite a modest project. I like to see this personally as an investment manager because smaller projects usually carry lower levels of inherent risk, especially when a well-reputed developer is involved, such as is the case here. Now, as I've mentioned, you will own a percentage of the hotel itself and your name will be added to the title deed. The investment pays an upfront rental return of €30,000 in addition to having the VAT and purchase tax, IMT, paid for you by the developer. So this is really an outstanding financial package at this price point. The buyback is also offered to you after you achieve citizenship, which will usually be around 6 years after the initial purchase once processing times are considered, and that buyback is a solid one as well. And essentially that would happen at the same price as which you purchased the unit, so €280,000 is the value of the buyback. You'll also have 7 days of free stay per year across a selection of Wyndham hotels in Portugal as well, so if that is important to you, if you want a free place to stay to qualify for your citizenship and meet those residency requirements, that is of course covered as part of this deal. Taking a step back now, what are the reasons to choose this investment, or why would you want to look for something else instead? Now, I really like this investment case because there are quite a few positives to run through. Now, I mentioned this is a fast-track investment option. We can get you on the Golden Visa program inside just 2 to 3 weeks through this investment option, which is really motoring through the process, and that is really great in the current legal context. There is that 100% money-back guarantee on this option if the deadline is missed. So if we miss the deadline, if the President wakes up and decides to ratify the law tomorrow morning, for example, 100% of all the monies paid, be it legal fees, be it a property deposit, would be refunded to you immediately. Given the price point, the entry level of €280,000, this is a very attractive rental yield with that 30,000 coming to you in addition to the VAT and IMT taxes being paid, and the buyback guarantee is a solid one. This, in my opinion, is the strongest remaining option at €280,000, particularly when we look at it purely from a return perspective. You also have the benefit of the security of a leading global brand in Wyndham Hotels and Resorts, and this property will of course qualify for citizenship even after the law changes, as is the case as long as we make an investment in a qualifying real estate property before the law changes. However, if you purchase the property after the law changes, of course it will no longer qualify being real estate, so we do need to bear that in mind. We need to make sure that we move forward on this before the new law actually takes effect. And there will be attractive options at 500,000 euros plus in the future if you have the budget to stretch to that. Like I say, my expert team and I are currently working on these options. We're very, very excited with what we'll be able to share with you. So if you do have a budget of 500k or more to invest here, then you may feel more comfortable taking a step back and waiting for those options to come through, because the investment case that we're putting together is very, very interesting indeed. But if you're looking at getting the Golden Visa at the minimum cost with a solid underlying financial case and get onto the program now, then this is certainly the outstanding option in my book. We do offer an awful lot of other alternative options if that is not particularly your cup of tea. However, there is one other standout one that is worthy of consideration right now. And this is a newly released project, or a newly announced project, which is very interesting actually when you consider the legal context. But it isn't surprising, on the other hand, when you look at how many Golden Visa investors, I should say, are looking to get onto the program before it ends. So what we have here is a 5-star Hilton hotel right on the beachfront in the Algarve. Again, very, very similar to the previous option with Days Inn. This is a co-ownership project at the 280,000 euro minimum entry point. This is very much your classic Golden Visa investment case, in that there's no rental return offered by the developer, but the developer will cover the taxes and fees on the deal. It's essentially a store of capital until your citizenship. So the financial case is not quite on the same level as the Days Inn option that we've just seen. So why would you choose this one? The short answer is location. Now, what you're losing in return on investment, you do gain in attractiveness of the underlying hotel offer. This hotel is in the heart of the Algarve in Alvor. Now, regular viewers of my channel will know why I like this area so much for Golden Visa investments. It is an attractive spot and a well-established sun and beach holiday destination surrounded by incredible beaches and golf courses. And you can see some of that in a little bit more detail on this slide here. Now, Portimao is a short drive away, and the charming village of Alvor is right on the doorstep. You have a selection of beaches to choose from, in addition to a beautiful golf course, which is right there, essentially next door. In terms of the investment, as per the last option, this is a fractional ownership model with a 280,000 euro buy-in and a 280,000 euro buy-back, which occurs from year 6 onwards. The financial package on offer is reduced versus the Days Inn option, but it is still attractive with the developer covering all taxes. As per the Days Inn, the Hilton option offers free stay of up to 7 days per year in this or any of the developer's other hotels in Portugal. Now, this is a slightly larger developer, so you will have even more choice on where to stay. But as your advisor here, I would ask you to remember that free stay is not a core part of any property investment. If we look at it in this way, the monetary value of 7 days free stay in an average hotel would only be around 1,000 euros. So it is not a core part of your investment decision, although it is of course a nice thing to have. Now, this hotel project is more ambitious than the Days Inn. It requires over 4 times the funding. Now, as an investment manager, I interpret that as being potentially higher risk than the Days Inn option, but the developer involved is highly reputable, and this remains a low risk investment regardless. Okay, so looking at this critically, this is also a very strong case. Once again, we're talking about a processing time of 2 to 3 weeks, so fast track. We also have that same money back guarantee if the deadline is missed, if the law is ratified quickly. The buyback guarantee here is very, very solid. Once again, we have a wide range of hotels in which we can stay for free for up to 7 days per year across Portugal, which is a nice fringe benefit. The location is outstanding, and again, this comes with the security of a leading global hospitality brand. As with the previous option, this will qualify for citizenship even after the law changes, which is of course good peace of mind for the following 5 years. However, the property does not qualify if we purchase it after the law change, the same as with the days in option, as it is real estate, and this is not a lucrative investment of capital. Really, the return here is the passport. So this is a good option for those wanting an investment in a prestigious project with a great location and who choose to prioritize this over the underlying financials. Okay, some frequently asked questions at this stage to clear up some common issues. So this is essentially what frequently comes up in my client meetings. So just to make this easier for you, can my road to citizenship be compromised after the law changes? The answer is straightforward here. No, this would violate the Portuguese constitution. What other requirements are needed for citizenship? As I mentioned earlier, you do need to pass an A2 level language test, and that is the case for everyone that is applying for citizenship. So parents, children, everyone needs to pass this test. A2 is not an advanced level. It is essentially one step up from beginner, so this should be quite achievable for everyone. Can I add more family members to my application later on? Now this comes up very frequently. The answer is yes. However, to qualify for citizenship, each applicant does need 5 years of legal residency. So that may mean that you need to hold the investment for longer in order for them to qualify, which can pose issues further down the line. So I would always recommend that if you can get started together, that's usually the best route. But speak to me if you'd like personal guidance on that individual situation. Can I invest in residential real estate instead? We've covered this in previous videos. The answer is only in specific areas of Portugal, so not along the coast, not in the Greater Lisbon area, not in the Greater Porto area, essentially in low density areas that offer poor investment outlooks. So, most Golden Visa investors are not looking to physically live in Portugal right away. So really you should be looking to prioritize areas that offer a strong return on your investment, strong capital protection. That's what I would recommend. And finally, what are the documentation requirements? So our team will walk you through each step when needed. So we will need certain documentation, so things like criminal records, marriage certificates, birth certificates for children. So we will be in touch to help coordinate that with you at the appropriate moment. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the session there. Now, my details are on the screen if you'd like to get in touch, if you'd like to get started with your own Golden Visa investment, learn more about the process. I'm very, very happy to help you in any way that I can. So drop me a line. It's jonathan.ralph@holbornassets.com. I do try to come back to all correspondence within 24 hours where I can. So don't be shy. I love hearing from you all. I hope that session was helpful. The next step with any residency by investment process is to set up an initial consultation to make sure that you're on the right lines. So in that initial consultation, we'll usually look at which is the right program to choose and recap that. Make sure that we're choosing the right visa for you because there are other options that are available. And we'll also look at what is the right investment to place your hard-earned funds into. All things that really should be carefully considered with a trusted advisor before proceeding with a major decision such as this. Now, if you'd like to book into my diary, you can scan the QR code that's on your screen there and it will take you straight to my calendar. If you're watching this on your mobile phone, don't worry, the link is also in the description box of this video, so just below this video here. And of course, you can always write me an email anyway if you get stuck. Right, so that's it for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe for further updates. Have a great day. Thank you for joining me today. Bye for now.